How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the Money in the Bank 2013 results / highlights and review video. I'll go over the results, some of the highlights in my opinion, and give you guys my thoughts on the show. So it all kicks off with the Money in the Bank kickoff, which kicked off with the matchup of the Shield versus the Usos, which was a pretty good matchup. It lasted around 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes or so. And towards the end, actually at some point in the matchup, one of the highlights of the match, you had Seth Rollins trying to superplex one of the Usos, and then the other Uso came in and tried to back suplex Seth Rollins while he still had, the other Uso in that superplex position, and then Roman Reigns came in and powerbombed the Uso that was trying to back suplex Seth Rollins, so it caused this huge slam or whatever, super back suplex powerbomb. And anyways, towards the end of the matchup, Roman Reigns tags himself in without the Uso seeing, and then he spears him, gets the victory, gets the 1, 2, 3. So the Shield retain, and after the matchup, they celebrate on the announcer's table. And Dean Ambrose actually comes out on the announcer's table too, and to celebrate with them as he waits for the World Heavyweight Championship contract Money in the Bank ladder match. Fandango makes his entrance, and that was it for the kickoff. And then for the actual show, of course, it starts off with the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank ladder match, and what a great match that was. It was an awesome matchup, lots of cool spots in the matchup. Cody Rhodes really shined in the match. Seemed like it was the start of Cody Rhodes' face turn. He did a lot of cool spots. At some point, you had Jack Swagger, and actually had Dean Ambrose put his head in between the ladder. And he was trying to, turn around and hit people with the ladder while it was, on his head or whatever. And Jack Swagger and Tony Cesaro grabbed both ends of the ladder, and they pushed it up, and with that ladder was Dean Ambrose stuck in the ladder, with his head stuck in the ladder. I don't know. I know it's kind of confusing the way I'm explaining it, but whatever. Anyways, he also had Cody Rhodes hit a muscle buster. Yes, actually a muscle buster on a ladder. I don't remember who he hit it on. I think it was in Tony Cesaro. Somebody. He hit a muscle buster on him. Wade Barrett was also good in the matchup. He had a lot of offense. Throughout the match, Jack Swagger and Tony Cesaro, I think, had the most. They teamed up the most. And, of course, the Shield actually interrupted or interfered in the matchup and started, attacking the other competitors in the matchup. Roman Reigns speared someone, and they were attacking everybody until the Usos actually came in and stopped the Shield, and also the rest of the Money in the Bank competitors started attacking the Shield as well. And then Cody Rhodes, by the way, he got busted open at some point in the matchup. I think he was on the top of the ladder at some point, and Dean Ambrose was on the other side of the ladder, and he was headbutting Cody a bunch of times, and that's when I think Cody Rhodes started bleeding. Anyway, Cody Rhodes started climbing up the ladder. Nobody else was in the ring. Everybody had gotten taken out on the outside when Dean Ambrose was climbing up the ladder, and Cody Rhodes pushed Dean Ambrose off the ladder onto everybody else outside. That's when he started climbing up the ladder. It seemed like he was about to win, but I remembered, I was like, wait a minute. Not everybody's taken out. I haven't seen Damien Sandow in the ring in a while, so I was expecting Damien Sandow to come sneaking in. And he sure did. He came in, he actually took Cody Rhodes off the ladder, took him off, pushed him off, threw him off, whatever. Climbed up the ladder, grabbed the briefcase. Damien Sandow, the new Mr. Money in the Bank, he's holding the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank contract. That was definitely surprising, the fact that Damien Sandow won the Money in the Bank briefcase. I was expecting Barrett to win. I don't really expect Damien Sandow to win because of his gimmick, but thinking about it, I'm like, damn, why didn't I think of this? They kind of hinted at Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes splitting or something like that over the past couple of weeks, with Damien Sandow interrupting Cody Rhodes every single time he gets the microphone. He would take it off him. He did the same thing tonight on Money in the Bank. Cody Rhodes was about to talk, and Damien took the microphone off of him. And that was before the actual match in their entrance. But yeah, Damien Sandow wins Money in the Bank. I'm happy about that. Although I did expect Barrett. It's not a disappointment or anything like that. I'm a big fan of Damien Sandow, so it's gonna be cool to see when Damien Sandow cashes in. After that, you had a segment where Brad Maddox came out, and he started talking about Vicky Guerrero and how he can't fill her shoes. And he made a joke about, he said he can't fill your shoes, and then he said, high heels, I can't fit in those, Anyways, he showed a video package paying tribute to Vicky Guerrero, but it was a video of, like, all the embarrassing moments of Vicky. And that was pretty much it for the segment. He'd tell the people to chant, thank you, Vicky, and that was it. After that, you had the Intercontinental Championship matchup. It was Curtis Axel versus The Miz. And for this matchup, early on, Paul Heyman got kicked out when The Miz pretended as if The Miz was on the outside, and he clapped his hands trying to make a slapping sound, and then he fell down on purpose. Then the referee, hearing that sound, he turns around and sees The Miz down and Paul Heyman, like, right next to him, and Paul Heyman's confused, and then the referee kicks out Paul Heyman. Anyways, okay match, decent matchup, and in the end, you had Curtis Axel hitting The Miz with the neckbreaker finisher. It was actually a modified version of that finisher, it's not the running one, and he wins the matchup. After that, you had the Divas Championship Match, Kaitlyn and AJ. And Kaitlyn had one of her elbows taped up. Apparently, she heard that on the spear on SmackDown. As far as the match goes, it was a good matchup. Another good match between Kaitlyn and AJ. And Kaitlyn actually hit the spear. But, she was selling her elbow. And eventually, AJ ended up locking in the her submission hold. Freaking forget what that submission hold is called every single time. It's called this something widow something. I know it's not called the Widow's Peak, but it's widow something or something widow. Somebody said it last time in the comment section, but honestly I forgot. She locks in her submission hold. Kaitlyn ends up tapping out, and that was it for the matchup. AJ wins and retains her Divas Championship. Following that match, you had Chris Jericho versus Ryback. In the match, Chris Jericho actually hit the codebreaker, but unfortunately Ryback was on the outside of the ring, he was on the apron, so he fell. And by the way, he hit the codebreaker when Ryback was like sticking his head in between the ropes. So Ryback falls outside, but he gets back in the ring at the count of like 9. Chris Jericho goes for the lion salt, but he misses. Ryback rolls out of the way, and then right away rolls up Chris Jericho. 1, 2, 3, gets the victory, and then right away gets out of the ring. And Ryback wins by a roll-up. I was hoping maybe for like Ryback to win by shell shock, but Ryback wins. Following that, you had the World Heavyweight Championship matchup. It's Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler. Good matchup. And this match, I just the ending. I mean, it was kind of expected that something like that could happen. I don't know. I was hoping maybe for a pinfall victory or something like that. Anyways, it ended in the disqualification. You had Dolph. I think he had just hit a drop kick on Del Rio, and then AJ's music hits. She comes out and she circles the ring, and then she stands there, and Dolph is all like, get out of there, get out of here. He doesn't want her there. And then that slight distraction causes Del Rio to get the advantage a little bit. He hits, I believe, a tilt-the-world backbreaker. But Dolph kicks out. He hits a couple more moves. Dolph kicks out, and they keep going. And then towards the end, you had Del Rio hitting that super kick of his. He hits that super kick. Dolph kicks out. And then he goes for it again, but this time I think he took out his knee brace, I believe. And he was going to go for it once again, but that's when AJ interfered. Although Dolph ducked, but then AJ goes in the ring and hits Alberto Del Rio with her Divas Championship, causing a disqualification. Thus, Del Rio wins by disqualification. After the matchup, Dolph argues with AJ, and he says, he was going to win, he was about to win, but of course she cost him the championship. The crowd even chants, you screwed Ziggler to AJ. So, yeah, and as he's, he walks away from the ring, and AJ's still in the ring, and she's yelling at Ziggler or whatever. Following that, it was actually the WWE Championship matchup. I was expecting the Money in the Bank ladder match beforehand, so you never know if they're gonna cash in the title match that same night. But looks like we have the title match first. And in this matchup, you had Mark Henry hit the World's Strongest Slam, which John Cena kicked out of. You also had John Cena hit the Attitude Adjustment, which Mark Henry kicked out of. He also locked on the STF about twice, more if you count the times where he locked it in and Mark Henry would get close to the ropes, so he would drag him away from the ropes and then lock him back in. At some point, you had Mark Henry taking off the freaking turnbuckles, exposing the turnbuckles. He exposed 2 of them, and he also brought in a chair. Pretty much, he did all that to distract the referee, so the referee was distracted trying to put back the turnbuckle in place, and while the referee was doing all of that, Mark Henry, while the referee was busy with that, Mark Henry actually got hit with one of the turnbuckles he exposed, and John Cena locked on the STF. At some point also, you had, while the referee was down, the referee got accidentally taken down when Mark Henry pushed John Cena towards the referee, and then Mark Henry took advantage of that by low blowing John Cena, but John Cena kicked out of that. Anyways, Mark Henry went for another World's Strongest Slam, but John Cena got out of it. He jumped out of it behind Mark Henry, and then he grabbed Mark Henry's foot, put him in the STF once again. Mark Henry was approaching the ropes, but John Cena pulled him back in the middle of the ring, and eventually Mark Henry tapped out. So John Cena wins the matchup and retains his championship. Following that, of course, was the main event, the Money in the Bank ladder match, the All-Stars Money in the Bank ladder match. And first, right away, RVD made his entrance. He was the first one out to a huge pop from the crowd. It was awesome. It's just awesome to see Rob Van Dam back in the WWE. So, as far as the match goes, just like the World Heavyweight Championship matchup, or World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank ladder match, this was awesome too. Awesome Money in the Bank ladder match. Crazy spots in the matchup. And of course, RVD had to get, he hit all of his signature stuff, his kicks, the kick from the top turnbuckle. He actually hit Rolling Thunder while, I believe it was Randy or Daniel Bryan. One of the two was on the ladder, and Rob Van Dam hit Rolling Thunder on him. And also, he hit the 5-star frog splash from on top of the ladder onto Christian. Also, ladders got broken. Sheamus set up a ladder in between the announcer's table and the apron, and he was about to powerbomb Daniel Bryan, just like he did to Sin Cara a couple years ago. But this time, Daniel Bryan got out of it, and he hit his running knee onto Sheamus. And Sheamus ended up being the one going through that ladder when somebody took him off the top turnbuckle. And I believe that was Daniel Bryan, if I'm not mistaken here. Now, where this gets really interesting and some surprising things happen is towards the end, you had Daniel Bryan climbing up the ladder. And he was about to, I'd say, win the Money in the Bank briefcase. But Curtis Axel comes out of nowhere with a steel chair. He hits Daniel Bryan, takes him out of the ring, hits his finisher on him, and then he's about to leave, and that's when CM Punk grabs him, hits the GTS to go to sleep on Curtis Axel. Paul Heyman then comes out and starts yelling at Curtis Axel, telling him, what are you thinking, interfering in this matchup? I want CM Punk to win. This is the guy I want to win, and you're messing with him, or whatever. And all this time, Curtis Axel's down, of course, from the go to sleep. CM Punk kind of ignores Paul Heyman. He goes back in the ring and starts climbing the ladder. Paul Heyman also goes in the ring. He starts cheering for CM Punk. He's like, go, go, go. And then there's another ladder in the ring. He grabs that ladder and he freaking hits CM Punk with that ladder once, twice, I think 3 times. In the end, CM Punk is like down. He's no longer on the ladder. He's, on the mat. He's staring at Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman freaking does it one more time, hits him one more time with the ladder, or drops it on him, and it dropped on his head. And a few seconds later, CM Punk started freaking bleeding and got busted open from that. And at this point, I think nobody else was in the ring. Rob Van Dam gets in the ring. He starts climbing up the ladder. And by the way, Paul Heyman at this point is gone. He left after, CM Punk got busted open. Rob Van Dam starts climbing the ladder, and Randy goes back in. He takes Rob Van Dam off the ladder, and as Rob Van Dam is falling, he hasn't landed yet. As Rob Van Dam is falling, Randy catches him with an RKO, climbs up the ladder. He looks over left and right, checking if anybody's in the ring or coming to take him down or whatever. There's nobody there. The coast is clear, and he grabs the briefcase and wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. So Randy wins the Money in the Bank ladder match. Right when that happened, I'm like, damn it, I should have freaking picked Randy as my pick. I should have predicted Randy to win this matchup. Same thing with the World Heavyweight Championship, but I would have never thought to pick Damien Sandow for that matchup. I would have never thought he would win it. As far as Randy goes, I was like split between Daniel Bryan and Randy, and ended up picking Daniel Bryan. So yeah, Randy wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, and that is pretty much it. So what did I think about this show? Highlights, in my opinion, highlights has just both Money in the Bank ladder match. Those were freaking awesome, entertaining, great. It was just fun to watch. They're always fun to watch, but these two were really, really, really good. And the lineup for the matches was, especially the All-Stars one, was really good too. And I like the up-and-coming Money in the Bank ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship as well, where it's all guys that have never been World Champion or WWE Champion, so they can get their first shot at it. So yeah, highlights really, both Money in the Bank ladder match. And if you want me to go into detail into highlights, as far as in the matchup, in any of the matches for Money in the Bank, Sheamus going through the ladder, Rob Van Dam hitting the 5-star frog splash from the top of the ladder, Cody Rhodes, what seems to be a face turn for Cody Rhodes, or maybe it's not a face turn yet, but I'm pretty sure it is going to be a face turn pretty soon now. And Damien Sandow winning the Money in the Bank briefcase has to be a very, very big surprise. One of the biggest surprises yet this year, in my opinion. So, as far as a rating for the show, I would give it a, I don't know, like a 7 on 10. 7 on, or 7.5 actually. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Thing is, the Money in the Bank ladder matches were really, really good. As far as the other matches, I like the Kickoff matchup. The Usos versus the Shield. The Usos really impressed. Shield too. Good tag team matchup. What else? World Heavyweight Championship matchup. Good match. As far as the rest of the matches, they were okay, decent. But the matches I just went over right now were like my favorites, especially the ladder matches. So, I don't want to keep repeating myself here. In the comment section below, I'd actually like to hear from you guys. What did you guys think about the show? What was your favorite match? My favorite has to be, I don't know, it's both Money in the Bank ladder matches were really good. Maybe the All-Stars match. I'd say maybe that was my favorite match. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, if you did, you can click that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps me out. It only takes a second. With that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.